Before I start this video, I would like to give a shout out to D-Day Cobra and the 199. I dropped a gauntlet last night and they picked it up in less than 5 minutes. It was literally one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on the internet, and I was completely humbled by it. At the same time, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. And with that, let's get into this video. Today I'm going to be discussing some casting announcements for Season 2 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms entitled A Sworn Sword. And they were put here on X, and let's go through them real quick. This is Lucy Boynton, who will be playing Lady Rowan. And yeah, we got no problems here. I mean, outside of her being a blonde and Lady Rowan is a redhead, that's an easy fix. You can dye her hair. I'm guessing it's probably going to be longer, so they'll probably end up going with a wig. But either way, it's an easy fix. On a personal note, ladies, I'm not into much of plastic surgery and modifications, but if God gave you a couple of bumps on your chest and you want to upgrade them, I got no problem with that. Listen, just keep it simple. Don't go for the watermelons, keep them between a handful and a mouthful, so things fit out. But, other than that, she's a good looking woman. So I got no problems with this casting. This is Peter Mullen, who plays Sir Ostis Osgray. He's supposed to be an older knight, a big guy. I mean, I can't tell much here, but he does look like a big dude. He's also supposed to be having problems with memory, perhaps early stage dementia at the time of A Sworn Sword. So we'll see how he does with that. But just initial reaction, I got no problem with him. And last but not least, we have Babu Sise playing Sir Bennis. And let's get into why this is a bit of a problem. This is a wiki of Ice and Fire, and we have a description of Bennis of the Brown Shield. Oh, well, HBO, nothing like being a little bit on the nose. And we get a general description here. Bennis of the Brown Shield was a man who seldom washed. He was about 5.5 feet tall, can't tell from the picture if that's right, and weighed about 80 pounds less than Duncan the Tall. Yeah, he does look a little bit on the light side in the picture. Bennis's rotten teeth were stained red and brown from eating sour leaf. I'm not 100% sure what sour leaf is. I'm going to guess it's really bad for you. His eyes were small, close set, and green. Oh, I guess there's nothing that colored contacts can't fix. The Hedge Knight had a nasty personality and a foul mouth. His laughter sounded like chickens and mules. Well, I can't wait to hear that. Bennis wore brown breeches, a rough spun tunic, and horsehide boots. His brown surcoat, well, I'm beginning to see why the character was called Brown Shield. His brown surcoat was covered his rusted mail, so he's basically poor too. And his sword belt was a cord of boiled leather. Bennis wielded a long sword and carried a tall kite shield of dark unpainted wood girded with iron. The Hedge Knight rode a shaggy gown and didn't treat it well. Okay, so let's summarize this. He stunk. He treated people shitty. He treated animals shitty. The one thing they forgot is that he robbed people. He was a thief. He was poor, foul-mouthed, nasty personality. Huh, maybe this wasn't such a bad casting after all. But let's go and see what X has to say about this, because X is an evil place. And we right off the bat, we get the old Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. Ah, and here is Sir Bennis in the book. Huh. Doesn't look quite the same, do they? Huh. Time not to watch season 2 then. Okay. I was a huge fan of season 1. Let me come back up here. I was a huge fan of season 1. I really was. If you watch my reviews, I loved it. Had a few small problems with it. The most glaring happened in the last episode. I didn't like the fact that they diverted from the books, because Aegon got permission from his father to squire for Sir Duncan, and in the show, he basically lied about it. Now, hopefully, they'll fix that at the beginning of season 2 in some way. Otherwise, we got another kidnapping on our hands. And the biggest problem I have with this is that Aegon is a prince. His lying in season 1 got Sir Duncan into a lot of trouble. His lying got him into the trial of 7. And he's wise enough and intelligent enough to realize the consequence of his actions. And I said when he was crying when Sir Duncan was in the cell, I thought it was genuine. I thought he was being penitent. I thought he meant everything. But if I look at the last scene there, he didn't learn anything. So you can't be penitent about something and then turn around and do it again. That it's going to be really hard to explain that, even with a young child. And he's not just a young child, he's a prince of the realm. So he's held to a little higher standard, people. But let's go back to X. Maybe it is a Netflix show. Stop changing another character's race. I'm tired of this crap. Yeah, we've had enough. Knew the race swapping was going to happen eventually. Well, I didn't. I was kind of hoping that they weren't going to set the trap, but apparently they have. And the season 2 trap is basically when you have a show that does great for its first season. Well, season 2, they start putting in all the messaging. They start race swapping characters. They start gender swapping characters. And apparently Ira Parker is going to be doing the same thing here. So, yeah, not happy. And we keep going down. Interest gone. Yeah, I got a feeling this won't be the only person. You think a good first season gives you the power over me, or gives you power over me? Yeah, I think they do. I think they think that once they get their hook into you, they've got you. And I'm not going to give up on this. And I have a problem with everything, but it's not the problem you think it is, and I'll explain it in a moment. We keep scrolling down here. More pictures. Seen this guy before. Property Allah. Yeah, we all know who that is. More pictures. Bugs Bunny's out. Yeah. And that one seems to be very popular. And here's what I was looking for. These two things are the same. Sir Bennis of the Brown Shield. Pretty on the nose casting there, Ira Parker. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. And Here's my problem. You casted him. All right, you've put yourself in the corner. I've already explained to you what kind of person he is. There's one other thing that happens in A Sworn Sword that you better not touch. And that is Lady Rowan at one point gets a lynch mob together to go after Sir Bennis. And I want to see that. So, if you try to redeem this character, if you omit that part of the book, I'm going to flay you like a Bolton. And every other YouTuber out there that is watching this is going to flay you like a Bolton. We will be unforgiving. There are consequences for your actions. And the other part of it is I just want to see the black community lose their mind when a lynch mob goes after a black man on a television show. I just want to see that. I mean, after the thing we had with the Baptas, this is just the next step. I just want to see this happen. I want to see everybody lose their minds over it because it's stupid, it's nonsense, and I just want to drink everybody's salty tears when this happens and listen to the lamentations of the women. So this needs to happen, HBO, because you've boxed yourself into a corner, just like you've boxed yourself into a corner with Black Snape, Prisoner of Azkaban. Can't wait for that. Let's see if Severus gets hung on a tree or by a tree. So remember that. We saw that vividly in the original movie. James basically hangs him upside down by a tree. So it ought to play really well. So, like I said, when you're doing these things, you're not thinking. And now there needs to start being consequences for it. And I'm all for that. I love consequences. And with that, I think I'm going to end this video. So like my father told me when I was 18 years old, get out